Hey everybody, welcome to another Dave's Real Life Stories. This is going to be a good one. Yeah, I can't make this stuff up. So just a little bit of warning, there's going to be some cursing in this. I try not to curse in any of my videos, but these last couple, there's been some cursing. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there for you. So last time I told you that I had, once I'd moved back from Daytona, I'd moved into the projects, right? And this is when I was still living in the project. So I lived in a little place called Little Vietnam, and it was pretty much on the border of Rockledge and Cocoa in Brevard County, where I used to live before I moved to Daytona Beach. And I had heard of Cocoa and Rockledge, and uh, I never heard of Little Vietnam or anything like that. But it was a bad place because you could literally hear gunshots at night and stuff like that, and machine guns. I mean, it was crazy. So I mean, it wasn't in my general vicinity, but it was still, and I could hear it, so it was still close enough to wow, this is pretty close. But anyways, uh, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call this girl Jen. All right, we're just gonna call her Jen. And Jen was a girl that I had actually met when I had to go to another. See, when you're a manager for Winn Dixie, you had to go to other stores for meetings, training, etc. So I had gone to another store because I was in a store in Rockledge, and there were a couple stores in Cocoa, and one of the stores that I had to go to for a meeting was in Cocoa. And my friend Champ, he was the manager of that meat department there in Cocoa. So the next we had our meeting, etc. And then the next day he calls me at my store and he goes, "Hey man, there's this cute little cashier that was wondering who you were." So I told her who you were, and he said she wants to meet you, and I was like, "All right." I mean, I'm at this point in my life, I'm like 19 years old, probably 19 and a half years old. I wasn't into girls. I had like gone to dinner and lunch a couple times with girls, but I mean nothing serious. I mean, hell, I'm not afraid to admit, but I was a virgin until I was like almost 21 years old. So yeah, I wasn't really into girls. I was into my job, right? I mean, I was making money. I loved it. And so yeah, Champ told me, he said, "Yeah, this girl here at my store, she was asking who you were, and she had seen he and I walking together. So that's why she asked him, 'Hey, who was that guy that you were walking with yesterday?'" So, he said, "Hey, can I give her your number, etc." So I gave him my number. He gave it to her, and we started talking. But anyway, for the sake of this video, her name is Jen. And she was a couple years younger than me. She was like 17. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, my mom and dad were 5 years difference. My dad was born in 4 years difference. My dad was born in 39. My mom was born in 43. So yeah, but she was a cashier at another store, and I would never, ever, ever date anybody that worked at my store anyway, because that is so against the rules. And that was one thing when you went into management at Winn Dixie, that was one thing they told you. They basically told you, you do not poke the payroll. And so yeah, because I was making great money, I didn't want to lose my job, right? And so me and this girl Jen, we would just kind of get together, and she would come over to my apartment and we'd watch movies and stuff. She was like a huge movie buff. And so I can't remember what it was that we were watching, but one day she was wanting to come over to my house and we'll come over to my apartment and watch a movie. And I was like, sure, we can do that. I had just worked like a 14-hour shift. I had to do inventory, right? And I was exhausted. So I got there at like midnight the night before. I was there all day, and it was like 5 o'clock. I finally got to leave, and I was just exhausted. And plus, I didn't have anything else to do, so I was married to my job pretty much. I was Mr. Winn Dixie. So, but then I remembered, oh yeah, that's right. I'm meeting Jen tonight, and we're gonna watch a movie. So I went home, and I fell asleep on the couch. And I think we were going to get together like 6 or 7 o'clock. Well, anyway, I fell asleep. And she came over to the place, and obviously I didn't answer the door or anything. And so all of a sudden, I am awoken to my friend James that lived to the left of me. And he was, I mean, literally, he was banging on my door. And my apartment was pitch black because I didn't have any lights on. I didn't have the TV on or anything like that. And I remember distinctively when he was banging on my door, there was a little bit of light. Every time he'd bang on my door, a little bit of light would shine through from where he was banging on the door so hard. And he's yelling, Dave, get your ass out here. David, get this bitch in check. And I'm going, what in the hell is going on? And so he's banging on the door, and I open up the door. I'm like, James, what's going on? I said, I'm sleeping, man. What is going on? What are you doing? And he goes, Dave, you need to keep your bitch in check. And I'm going, I said, what do you mean? And so come to find out, it's so funny that this happened. So, all right. So looking out of my house, looking out of my apartment on the left, James lived there, and he was on the very end. And then Javier lived to the right of me. In fact, I think Javier had moved out by this point. So I don't think anybody was in that apartment. And so when Jen came over, she knocked on my door a couple times and I didn't answer. So she got worried. So instead of knocking on people's doors, seeing if they knew where I was or anything, she took the initiative. She went around to the back of the apartment building, and she wanted to get in there to see if I was okay, because she told me, she said, you never not answered your door. I didn't know if you were mad or what. I'm like, I was sleeping. So what she had done is she walked around and she climbed in the bathroom window because she wanted to see if I was okay. Well, unfortunately for her, she climbed into James's bathroom, and he thought that someone was breaking into his apartment. And he carries a pistol. Remember, I told you he carried a pistol. He was definitely carrying a gun. He carried a little 38 special. And when he heard this, he heard someone was in his bathroom. So he opened up the bathroom door and saw her. He pulled his gun. He almost shot her. Well, she fell. When she was climbing in, she saw James. They screamed at each other. She fell. She fell into the bathtub. She hit her head. She split her head wide open. And when I'm opening up the door, James is like, Dave, you need to keep your bitch in check. And I'm going, what in the hell's going on? And he's like, you need to keep your bitch in check. And he's pointing down over to the curb on the side of the road. And here's Jen wrapped up in his freaking shower curtain, all bleeding. She's got blood all over herself. There's blood on the... I was like, what in the hell? And he's like screaming. I'm like, James, please stop screaming. I said, I'm not even awake yet. I don't even know what's going on. And he tells me, I thought it was a crackhead trying to steal my shit in my house. And I almost shot this bitch, David. I almost shot her. He says, you need to keep your bitch in check. And I'm going, oh my God. Now that I look back, I laugh because, I mean, how can you make this shit up, right? And so I went over to her and I asked her, I said, hey, Jen, are you all right? And she told me the story. And I'm like, I said, why didn't you just go home? I said, you almost got killed. She said, I know. And so I took her up to Wusthof Hospital, which was just down the road. And I was mad by this point. In fact, I was actually mad at her that this happened, and I shouldn't have been mad at her. I should have been more complacent. But, you know, I'm here. I've never had no real girlfriend or anything like that, so I didn't know what to do or how to act or anything like that. And so I got pissed at her, and I drove up to the door, and then I said, here you go. And she goes, you're not going to come in with me? I'm like, I'm not coming in with you. And she gets out. She's still in like the shower curtain, wrapped up in the shower curtain. I'm going, What now? So she goes, she gets a couple of stitches. She calls me. I go back up there and get her. And then on the way home, she literally says, do you still want to watch that movie? I said, hell no, I don't want to watch that movie. I want to go back to bed. I said, I'm tired. I just worked all day. And by this point, it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And I got to be back there at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I tried to get sleep, I tried to get some sleep. And the whole time after I get home, as soon as I get home, James is just like grilling me about, I almost shot that girl, David. I said, James, I didn't know she was going to do that. I said, why don't you keep your window locked? He said it was locked. I said, well, how the hell did she get it open? And he says, I don't know. He said, but Dave, I thought she was a crackhead. I thought she was coming in to rob me. Oh my God. But yeah, she asked me if I still wanted to watch that movie. And I said, are you kidding me? I was like, no, we're not watching that movie. So, I mean, we still kind of dated for a little while after that, but things just kind of changed after that. So it's weird. So anyways, everybody, that was another real life story that happened to me. That was, like I said, that happened towards the end of me living in the project building that I was living in. And man, I just can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. So let me know, have you ever had anything crazy like this happen to you? I want to know down in the comments section. So if you like the content that you see on the channel, please just do me a huge favor, give me a thumbs up. And also, if you like the content, please also subscribe to my channel and also hit that bell notification so you get notified every time that I release a video. So until next time, happy gaming, and keep those chicks out of your showers. See you, bye.